Hi, I'm Erica Peterson,
And I'm Alex Peterson.
and we are Peterson Home Team. We work as a husband and wife team, and I know a lot of times, people say there's struggles with it, and oh, how do you do that? And so we just wanted to come and kind of, tell you our success stories, our challenges, the ups and downs that come along with that. And so that's kind of what we're going to talk about today. I got my license about 6 years ago, and
I got mine about 2 years ago.
yeah, so basically, he ended up getting his license because I was pregnant. And business doesn't stop just because you're having a baby. And so he got his license just to kind of help me on the side, but ended up falling in love with it. And then we kind of got busy enough to where it just made sense for him to go full time. And so that's kind of how we ended up where we are here. So, um, one of the most important things I would say with working as a husband and wife team is defining your roles. So I know whenever we first started, we were kind of like, what are you going to do? What am I going to do? What makes sense? And so we kind of were wishy washy about what each of us did for a while.
There was a lot of wasted time.
Yeah, for sure. And so I think it was really important for us to sit down and say, okay, what do you love to do? What part of this business do you love to do? What makes sense? What are you good at? And really define those roles.
Yeah.
So we sat down and we did that. And I feel like that was a game changer for us. It really helped us, not waste as much time, really bring everything together to where it made sense for what I was doing, what I love to do. That part of the business is what I'm going to stick to. And then he has a whole different personality than I do. So, what made sense for him was completely different than what made sense for me, which is great for both of us because that means we both don't have to do the part of business that we don't love.
Yeah, and I mean, it's been a year and a half almost, and we're still working on it.
Yeah. They definitely evolve and change. And maybe we were doing something and we're like, oh, I really don't like doing that, or this role really needs to be picked up. And so it's definitely an evolving thing. But having those defined roles is definitely really important.
Mm-hmm. Another thing is keeping work and home separate.
Yeah.
You don't want to bring the stresses of your day back home because we're together all day long.
Yeah.
And if you do that, like it causes a problem.
Yeah, it's really easy to, get home from a long day of work and be cooking dinner with your kids. And because we work together, bring that home. And maybe that's what we're talking about over dinner or the problems that were happening that day. And that's not fair to us or our family to not be able to have a break from, work just like everybody else. So being able to separate that and say, okay, we're home. This is what we're talking about now. We're not going to bring up the stress of this. This can wait till tomorrow or whatever. So I think that's really important too. Yeah.
I don't know what to hit next.
I would say the other challenge that we have is taking vacations. So, whenever you're a real estate agent, life doesn't stop or work doesn't stop because you want to go on vacation. So you may be on the beach, but someone may still be calling you, hey, I want to see this house or this or this or that, which is totally fine. But you have to have a someone to take over whenever you're on vacation. And so normally as a team, you would have somebody, and we have other agents on the team, so that isn't so much a problem now as it was when it was just us. But it usually with a business partner, you can say, hey, I'm going on vacation for a week.
Yeah.
Help out.
You're used to working as a team, but then your team just comes with you.
Right. So then you can't really be like, hey, take over for me while I'm gone because they're with you. So I think that was definitely a struggle that we had to overcome and figure out someone to take over for us when we did want to get away or go on vacation.
I mean, that even goes to weekends.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like,
evenings.
Yeah, you don't really have a lot of evenings or weekends sometimes, but it's still, no matter what, one of you's got to do it.
Right.
So it's not like you have a team to take over. It is more like you just have somebody to split the work with.
Yeah.
It does make it easier, but you don't get the time off or the quality time that you want.
Yeah, for sure. And I would say we're together, all day long, and he does run a lot of errands and stuff like that. So he's not always in the office, but it does kind of make it difficult just to have quality time because we're together all the time for work. So it just changes the aspect of things and some things you got to work around for sure. But there are a lot of benefits to it as well. um, I get to build with my husband. Like, what greater thing would it be to be able to sit down and say, "Hey, this is my dream. This is my vision. Will you come alongside me and help me build it?" And him be like, "Yes, I'm in." And so um, it's really awesome to just have that person there that believes in you and trusts you, and I've seen maybe friends build a business together, and things aren't like, yes, you have a friend, you have a business partner, but I mean, to have your husband there and say, "Hey, this is what I'm envisioning. What do you see?" And being able to build that together is really awesome.
Yeah, and I mean, this moves really fast, but like a lot of that with us has come at learning how to communicate better,
Hmm.
learning what the way to talk to each other, because it's easy to bicker back and forth whenever you're dealing with stuff, whenever stuff is going on, stuff moves quick, you're having a lot of problems, you're putting out a dumpster fire of a deal. um but like we can have a conversation, be open and honest about it, and it does help build stuff up. And like for me, I was in a job I didn't like for a huge part of my adult life. I didn't like it. I wasn't happy. And so I still am in a term where every day I'm grateful that I'm able to do something for us rather than for somebody else. And so it comes to me pretty easy now. Like I will say exactly what I'm thinking, and she will tell me exactly what she's thinking. And you don't take anything personal because business life and personal life isn't the same thing. Um,
Yeah.
like it's a very clear defined role. Like this is our business issue, and then that's what it is. And so we can have that conversation and have no problems later because of it. And I think that's really important. I think it's
Hmm.
really, really important that way.
Yeah, I think having that open and honest line of communication is a huge deal. Being able to say, "Hey, this isn't working. Hey, I need you to do this a little different. Hey, whatever it is." Um, maybe we want to change the way we're directing things. Maybe we want to just completely do how we do things on the back end or whatever it is. But being able to say it and not be like, "Oh my gosh, am I going to make her mad?" Whatever. So I think just being able to be open and honest with each other is huge for sure.
Yeah. Um, I mean that finishes the story there, doesn't it?
Yeah. So, whenever we decided to do this, I really put a lot of thought into it, because I was like, do I hire somebody? Do you quit your full time job and come alongside me? Like, what makes the most sense? But whenever he got his license, I feel like he just kind of loved, like he said, he was stuck at a job for so long that he didn't love. And so whenever he was able to like be in the sunlight and be able to run around or drop things if we needed to, it was a game
I
changer.
worked inside of a cave
Yeah.
underground, so I didn't really see daytime for like 12 years.
Yeah.
And you saw like the evening and like some in the morning, but you'd go into work at 7 o'clock in the morning and come out at like 4. So you don't have much day.
Yeah.
Um, and I did really like it. I like being able to be on the move and run around and talk to people and be a little more free with my day. Um, like for us, it is scary. Like being as we have like one really steady income and one completely commission based income, it was scary to leave that. It was very scary. And for anybody that may be thinking about it, it's not the same for everybody. Like for me, that it made sense because hiring somebody hiring somebody would just mean that we had to make more to pay more. Bringing me in and throwing all of our eggs into one basket means we had to succeed.
Hmm.
And
Yeah, we really don't have a choice. We don't have a backup plan.
yeah,
So it's either this or nothing. So
eh,
it kind of reminds us every day whenever, because real estate can just get mundane. You do the same thing over and over and over and over. You grind every single day. And so whenever we're in, do we really want to pick up the phone again? Do we really want to do this? We don't have an option. We don't have a choice.
mhm.
This is it. And so, it makes you kind of work harder. And, um, you know, when you want to take a day off, can't really do that. So you really think about, oh my gosh, what does that day off mean for me and my family, um, money wise, as well as balancing that. So you are taking the time off that you need as far as like evenings and weekends and spending quality time together. But at the same time, you're not, because working for yourself, you can get kind of, I would say, not lazy, but it can get easy to be like, oh, I'm going to take this day off, or I'm going to go run and do this. I'm going to do this. I don't want to get off the couch today. You don't have anybody to call and say, hey, I'm sick today. And so really showing up for yourself and for your clients, it can get hard. And so whenever you have all your eggs in one basket and your whole family's counting on it, you don't really have that choice. And so it really gives you a little bit of a kick in the butt to get up and continue to do the everyday things that you have to do anyway. So,
That brings up a good point just for us. We have 3 young kids.
mhm.
One of them is a 2-year-old who is the craziest child I've ever seen,
Yes.
and he goes every day, all day, until he falls asleep, and he doesn't like sleeping. So he'll get up at 8 in the morning, and he'll stay awake until like 11 at night. The occasional nap, but not every day. And we have a daughter who is diabetic, which really, like, for us, we're in the life where we just do it. Like, it's not a huge like stopping. Like, you just do what you have to do. Well, with her, that comes with some extra challenges that hiccup in there, where sometimes we at one point had to go visit her school every day of the week for a couple weeks in a row because of
Mhm.
complications. She has other stuff that happens. It just means you have to stop everything and take care of it. Um, that's something that came up with us because with me coming and working real estate full time with Erica, when it was time to do stuff like that, that did define it. Like, we had to define that role pretty well. And so just you bringing up like the doing the work and doing how we do
Mhm.
stuff, um, it stops sometimes, and it's hard to keep it rolling, and it's hard to get in your rhythm, and necessarily setting up a system for us doesn't always work because it's not going to go right.
Yeah.
It's not, you don't get a choice when it goes right.
Yeah.
And we have to be able to do that. And a lot of times, because I do a lot of more of the running around and the just all the back end stuff to keep stuff rolling, we will have me go and I'll take care of the kids. But then if we have a whole mess of showings in one day, then Erica will go take care of the kids and I'll go do all that stuff and we'll pause this work. And like for us, like I do a lot of work at like 11 o'clock to 1 in the morning, like just making sure I'm on top of stuff. Erica gets up earlier and does more stuff early.
Mhm.
Um, that just, I mean, being with having no backup plan, like it seems like that's what we have to do. We have to do that just because that's how life has taken us so far.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's going to change in a couple years when the kids are a little bit older. But for us right now, like that is something that came up with us that has to happen and keeps us going.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely like, we made sure our office was like close to the school so we could get there fast if the nurse called us and
It's
just
close to home too.
it is close to home too. Just making sure that our kids are taken care of and being able to stop in the middle of work and then start again, like you said, kind of throws you off rhythm, but it's a good thing that, this is the right career to be able to be like, hey, I gotta go take care of my kids,
Yeah.
And Haley was just a baby whenever I got licensed. And so she's always just come with me to showings, and she turns on the lights for me, and she kind of just has a job within the showings. And so she could probably sell a house better than I do, just because she's so
Ian
used to
too.
going yeah, they're so used to going into houses and just coming alongside us. And so being parents and real estate agents, they kind of go hand in hand. And I'm really grateful for that, being able to have a job where my kids can be included. And I can stop if there's a emergency for Haley, or if she needs us, or whatever it may be. Having them just come sit at the office instead of wherever they are, whatever needs to happen. So I'm really grateful for that. And you know kind of just rolling with the punches is important. And um
Yeah.
things always change
With
with.
them coming into houses,
Mhm.
we are just being having to take them with us sometimes, and we try to minimize it because having 3 kids is a lot to
Mhm.
have to take to a showing. Just in any aspect, even if you're the person looking at the house, 3 kids is a lot to have to deal with there. But the older two, especially, like, they've very quickly were taught to be respectful going into people's
Mhm.
houses. They take their shoes off, they don't touch anything. Um, but we can stay consistent with that too.
Yeah.
And that just being together, or we just go together and one of us sits in the car with the kids.
Yeah. We have an evening full of showings, rather than one person spending their whole evening alone. We just go as a family and kind of make it a family thing. And maybe we'll go out to dinner after or
Mhm.
whatever. But just kind of making it a family affair. And I really do feel like real estate is a family affair for us, because, you know, sometimes you do end up working late, and, your kids are like, hey, play with me. Hey, do this. But really being able to be like, hey, if I can get this many sales, or if we can do this, then that means we get to go do this extra thing, or that means we get to do this. And so really including the kids in our goals and our ambitions has really helped too, whenever there are the late nights or things like that. And we do try to, put our phones down during dinner and have one-on-one
Yeah.
time. And, whenever we are on vacation, having certain times of the day that we are checking our phones or whatever. So we're not just constantly, doing that. But I think having them a part of it makes it easier for them to understand, hey, if you can let, mommy or daddy write this offer, or, put this listing in MLS or whatever it is,
Yeah.
then we can take the rest of the evening to do fun stuff or play or anything like that. So,
Yeah. That hits back with the separating home and
mhm.
work life. Um, mm, it does help. It does help to make it a family affair because it also makes it to where it doesn't seem like work is overtaking everything.
Mhm.
Um, we include them a lot.
Mhm.
Um, we include them a lot, especially maybe you get to go look at really cool houses.
Mhm.
The occasional time will show up, you find a house that's just completely different than anything else.
Mhm.
And they all seem to enjoy it. Now, no kid likes to just drive around showing houses all night, but they do talk about it more. They do ask stuff. One of them points out every for sale sign she's ever seen. Um, and, it makes it easier as a family.
Mhm.
Um, just I feel like we've kind of bounced around a little bit, just touching on different stuff, but it coming and working together can be fantastic.
Yeah.
It is not for everyone. Not I don't think everybody could work together. I think that, we're being a year and a half in, like, we're still working on it.
Mhm.
And it's just like being married. We're always going to be working on it
Mhm.
because what else can you do? You can't stagnate. You can't just let it go. You have to be able to talk. You have to be able to handle your business. You have to be able to set up where your role's at. And just for me, I'm happier.
Yeah.
I'm a lot happier. Um, and it has provided an opportunity to be able to spend more time with my 2-year-old probably than the other 2 kids combined. And so that's the perspective that I look at when it comes to working together.
Mhm.
And that touches back on this is the all or nothing plan and everything else. But you get to do different stuff. And by working together and making it happen, no matter what that needs to be, it changes how you can live. And I know that everybody's story isn't the same because some people may have had another similar type job or whatnot. Um, it has made things easier
Mhm.
in terms of some home life stuff.
Yeah, I definitely would say there's pros and cons to it, and I think if someone is contemplating, being a husband and wife team or working together, really look into what that means for your relationship, what that means for your business, what that means for providing for your family, and really take a look at whether it makes sense for you or not. And if it does make sense for you, go all in. Go all in and really put everything you have into it, and it can be really awesome. But you have to be open with each other. You have to be able to communicate, like we said, and
Be willing to communicate,
yeah, yeah,
willing to be open,
yeah,
um, because you can make it work. Even
yeah,
if you go in the beginning and you just butt heads constantly, like you can make it work. You just have to be willing. You have to be willing to be able to do it. You
yeah,
have to be willing to talk. Like in our situation, Erica is the leader. She is the leader. She does not make all like necessarily all final decisions. She doesn't try to just overtake the business. Like, but if we need something or I'm not sure or she has a clear vision, I just defer it back to her. And that's what works for us because she has 3 times the amount of time in the business. She learned by getting thrown to the sharks. And she was on a team before and they taught her a lot of stuff too. But in the beginning, like a lot of people, they're just like, here you go, you got your license. Now what?
yeah,
But like me coming in to help, I haven't had to do that. I haven't had to pay dues like any like other people do, like because with my wife of already doing that, like that's what she did.
yeah.
And pick up where I'm at. I got tracked off.
Well, it's definitely a dynamic that you have to work on, and like I said, there's goods and bads, and definitely look at everything, look at your business, look at your home life, and see kind of where you end up. But it can be really rewarding. It can be really challenging at times, and so it's just a combination of both, depending on the day. And so we just wanted to come and talk to you about it, how we've handled it, things like that, and so. Um, Let us know if you have any questions or anything like that, and we'd love to talk to you. Um, and we will be back next month. So,
All right.
bye.
Bye.